there's a lot of documentation that comes along with buying a property, and we need to go through that real estate lab. So a part of our due diligence and transaction process is going to be the non-physical due diligence, as I mentioned in the first video in Chapter 7. So what that means is there's a lot of documentation that comes along with buying a property, and we need to go through that to confirm a couple things. So I'll just go through them and talk a little bit about each. So the first thing is going to be our lease audit. So what a lease audit is you received a rent roll when you started underwriting and made your offer on this property. I'm assuming you received a rent roll or some form of rent roll. You know how many tenants are in there, what types of units they are, and what the rents are at, and what the tenant's name is. So what we want to do is we want to confirm all those with the contracts that we have for each unit, the leases. So the owner, the seller, is going to provide you, while you're under contract, all of the due diligence documentation normally within the first 5 to 10 days. They're supposed to provide you all that stuff. So once you get all the leases, either you or your management company is going to go through each and every lease. And the best way is to just throw this into an Excel sheet. Throw the original rent roll into Excel, and then create another column for the leases, and you have to go through every single lease and write down what is the actual lease rental rate. Because on a rent roll, it could say $900, but on the lease for that same unit, same tenant, what if it says $825, right? Now you're starting to see discrepancies. And I've had that happen before. So we're going to go through every lease, and we're going to see when's the start date, when's the actual end date. Are they in a current lease? Is it month to month? Has the lease expired? Now it's month to month. What's the actual lease rate? What is their actual deposit? You want to make sure to get the deposit schedule, because the rent roll might have a deposit schedule that doesn't match up to the actual leases as well. So you're going to go through and do an entire lease audit. And we're going to get all those details out into some sort of a spreadsheet or something so that you can compare the two and then make certain decisions. Like, hey, Mr. Seller, you said that there were 30 out of 32 units occupied, but you only have 24 leases. Are these other units not leased, or are you just missing the leases, right? And then on your physical walkthroughs, you're going to walk all 32 of those units, and you're going to confirm, first of all, are they 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms? What condition are they in? But also, is it vacant or is it occupied, right? On the rent roll, it said this unit was occupied at $1,000 a month, but there's nobody in here when I did my walk. We're confirming all of that. We need to know exactly what we're getting into because we're buying multi-million-dollar assets. So lease audit is part of the process. Next part of the process are contracts. So every property you buy, I don't say every property, but most properties you buy, you're going to have some contracts. And that could include anything from your waste management contract with a trash company to cable or internet companies if you have a all-encompassing cable or internet package. It could include contracts for an alarm system or security, pool cleaning, maintenance, landscaping. Those are, I would say, mainly the big ones. Snow removal if you're up north. And so you want to go through all these contracts because we get to decide as a buyer whether we want to inherit these contracts or not, as long as they're cancelable. And so we're going to go through all these contracts and say, well, the landscaping contract is really expensive. I have a guy who I just quoted and can do it cheaper. So seller, I want you to cancel this contract at closing. There's really no other options for trash removal in this city, so we're going to maintain the trash contract. But maybe we want to go renegotiate it, but don't cancel this one at closing. Your maintenance contract seems solid, so we'll assume that one. And the internet contract we're going to cancel because we're going to make tenants get their own internet from here going forward. So there's all these decisions you have to make on contracts. Just make sure it's part of your due diligence items that the seller is going to give to you. You're going to review all these contracts. You're going to decide and select which ones you want to assume and which ones you don't. And then you're going to send that list off to your attorney or to title company, whoever takes care of that in the process that you're going through. Additional non-physical, let me think. Non-physical, I mean, it could be your insurance, right? We're going to get insurance quotes. I normally suggest getting 2 to 3 insurance quotes so we can compare. You never know. I've seen insurance come in so many different prices and coverage plans, different types of policies from one provider to the other, that it just makes so much sense to just go and get multiple quotes. You don't want to get one at 18,000 and then one you get at 14,000 and another you get at 9,000, right? You got to compare all these, and sometimes it's not the best to go with the cheapest one, right? You want some comprehensive coverage, but at the same time, don't just go with the first one you get because it's easy. Put in a little extra work and make sure you quote multiple things. So those are a lot of things that come along with the non-physical due diligence, and we're gonna head on to the next section here for you guys. So we'll see you soon.